$47,000 in 90 days.
I was just like so blown away. I have too many clients. Now I don't know what to do. Where do I put my credit card number? There is no question that this works. My coaching container right now is sold out, and I made back my initial investment and 50% more.
All right, Les, I've been talking about you so much behind closed doors because I am so fascinated and impressed and inspired by you. And I was just on a call the other day because one of our new clients was like, am I too late to this game? And I think you are the epitome of it's never too late, because I remember when you joined CCA, you were saying like, I want to just retire early, right? You were like just leaving your job and all the things. And now we're here. We're going to talk about how you made $47,000 in 90 days from just like, yeah, I just want to, leave my job a little bit early, to like, wow, look at all of this success. So to kick this off, how would you introduce yourself, tell the world what you do and who you are?
So I was a healthcare worker for 34 years, and I was just so burnt out, and I saw things happening on the internet, and my son's fiance was an influencer, and I thought, hey, maybe I should try this out. And wow, has it been a journey. It's been amazing. Yeah. So
I love that.
I jumped in 2 years ago and just started learning and realized I had so much to learn. And I just kept reading books and listening to podcasts and taking courses. And now even my sons, who are one's 29, one's 31, they're like so impressed by me. They're like, Mom, this is so good. Yeah. So it's definitely been a journey. And I think one of the biggest things that was unexpected for me is so many people say that. They're like, oh, wow, you are a perfect example of how you're never too old to get into this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes me sound like I'm ancient. But what's actually happened for me is by learning all of this stuff, it makes me feel so current. And I feel like, oh, wow, I'm in the prime of my life. Where people who are retiring are thinking, okay, this is it. I'm over the edge. When in fact, by learning new things, it just makes you feel so, I don't know, effervescent. And it changes everything about your perspective about life. Yeah.
I love that. So can you walk us through like where you were at before you joined CCA? Because I know you came to us, you already had like 100K followers, you were doing a ton of stuff online, but talk to us about like where you were at when you made that decision to sign up.
Excellent. So I had lots and lots of followers, but I was having a really hard time monetizing it. And so even though I had huge followings on multiple platforms, I really wasn't making that much money. I had taken a couple of courses. I had hired another mentor. The fit was just completely off. Priorities misaligned. Also felt like I wasn't aligning properly with my offer. And I think that's what was holding me back. So I was sitting there thinking, wow, this girl is doing this. I kept seeing you. It kept happening. And I was like, okay, we need to have this conversation. And so that's kind of where I was, really wanting to monetize all of this effort. It had taken me a long time. I knew I had a really loyal audience. I had this huge following, but I really was not able to figure out how to monetize it.
I love that. And when you first joined CCA, like we were talking a little bit offline about, I was like, Les, I want to hear about your experience in CCA and what you love about it. Like, tell us about how you felt, maybe like your first day, your first few days, seeing like the community and how different the program is among others.
Yes, I had had another experience with another mentor, and it was also a group coaching situation. It was completely different from this. This group of people in this room were experiencing success, and they were getting individualized guidance from you and from the other coaches in CCA. And I was so impressed by how young they were and how much money they were making. But not only that, just how nurturing the environment was. It wasn't like, hey, I drive a Lambo and I wear a Rolex, so you should be me. It was like, hey, let's figure out what makes your heart sing and let's help you monetize that. And let's align with your individual X factor. And that whole drill down into who you are and what you bring to the world, that is just so unique. And I feel like that is just so CCA. So that's what I was just like so blown away. And I was just sitting there going, am I going to be able to do this? Like, how is this going to happen for me?
And I want to talk about that because I remember one of your first calls that you joined, we were talking and you were like, I want to do this mindset offer, this like wealth mindset offer. And we were like kind of noodling on that. And then a few weeks go by and you're like, I got it. I'm going to teach other people how I got to where I am. So can you talk about the coaching offer that you created as your offer that was like the thing that skyrocketed, your income, your monetization, your Instagram?
100%. So what ended up happening is I was able to drill down and really align with the strengths that I had. And so it had taken me a full 2 years to really learn all of this information and go through all of these steps and all of these processes. And it was part mindset and it was part limiting belief release and it was all of those things. But what I wanted to do is make an opportunity for someone else to actually experience the steps that I lived on my journey and not have it take 2 years, but have it take 90 days. And so I was
Mhm.
able to put together a coaching program that's a one-on-one with me, where I literally shepherd them through based on where they are, what their aligned mission is, and actually bring them up to speed. It's been incredible. It far exceeded my expectations. In fact, my coaching container right now is sold out. I had to tell somebody yesterday, I can take you in 2 weeks, but right now, because I've also had this amazing experience with CCA where every time there's friction in my business, I'm like, okay, Julia, I need more leads. Okay, this is how we do it. Okay, Julia, I need more clients. Okay, this is how we do it. Okay, Julia, I have too many clients. Now I don't know what to do. It's just been this amazing hand holding experience where I've been able to maximize my personal potential, but then also grow in a way that's consistent with keeping a sustainable business model. And so that was another big lesson that I learned when I was going through the program. And it's also been amazing because when I was there on day one, there were other people that were in the program that were on, day 60. And so when I watched them do these things that I then later achieved, it was very much like a continuum. So like, wow, I can't wait until I say that my coaching program is sold out or whatever, right?
Mm.
So seeing everybody and hearing you answer their questions, it kind of gives you a preview of what to expect. And then when you get to that point, you're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do because that's what Allie did, or this is where Eve was one day. So it just really allows you to benefit from all of the other people. So because of that, I'm actually developing my own school and I want to start doing a group coaching experience
Yay.
because I really see the synergy
Mhm.
and how that is going to help my students. And it will also make my program more sustainable and so that I don't have to close it because I don't have enough hours in the day.
I love this. And I really want to drill this down because I firmly believe that the way online education courses and coaching is going is towards these community experiences. So, can you talk about your experience being a part of CCA and what the community has felt like for you and maybe some benefits that you've gotten from being a part of the community? And before you totally dive in, I want to just point out to listeners Leslie is a team player. She comes to every call, she writes in the group, she responds to people's questions. And I think that too, I want you to speak to is being a team player because that's how you're going to get the most out of being in a group.
Well, so that's funny that you should say that because I love coaching, right? And so I also was in a different place compared to all the other students in CCA. So I have 100,000 followers. I have a product that shows you how to get 100,000 followers. And so many of these students were starting out from a different perspective. And I felt like I had a lot to give them and share with them. So that was
Mm.
one piece of it. I felt like I could answer a lot of the questions that were being asked in the school community. But then what ended up happening is like with anything else, right? You have these connections with people and you align with them and you're like talking to them offline and you want to learn about, oh, your program and can you tell me how you did that? And so I've generated all of these relationships that aren't just business relationships. These
Mm.
are friendships. These are people that I know that have actually already skipped on and they've moved on, but we still meet and we still connect. And that is just, you know how they always say, if you hang out with 5 people who smoke, you're going to smoke. If you hang out with 5 millionaires,
Mhm.
you're going to be a millionaire. Well, just being able to get in that room and
Mhm.
foster these relationships with these people that are experiencing this kind of success, it helps you understand how you can become that success. And you can't achieve that until you believe it. And then when you realize these are all just people just like me. So you need to
Yeah.
definitely lean into that piece of it and that connection that you have. So that's what I would say about the community. I would say that there are people that you're going to be able to benefit, but there are so many people that can benefit you because everyone is on a different place in the continuum. Does that make sense?
I love that. So, talk to us a little bit more about what helped you tactically. And we were laughing on the last group call because everyone's like, Leslie, we want your problems. These are the best problems to have. Leslie's like, I have too many leads. I'm shutting the doors. I have too many clients. You are the epitome of success. Seriously, when it comes to what we want our students to achieve, I'm like, talk to Leslie. She's doing it. I'm like, Leslie, we're setting up a whole referral program just because of you. So, talk to us about tactically what has helped you.
Truth be told, old dog, new tricks. Going back to our earlier conversation, I was asking you things and you're like, oh, you should do this. And literally, literally, it would take somebody else one day, it would take me 3 weeks to process through. So, for example, when it was time for me to automate, because I was telling Julia, oh my God, I have so many leads. I'm just living in my DMs. I'm like on my phone all the time. My husband thinks I'm a teenager. I like won't put my phone down. She's like, okay, we need to automate with ManyChat. We need to get an online calendar so that you don't have to be scheduling these appointments. I mean, I was having people in New Zealand and Australia and England and the Pacific Northwest, and I live in the East Coast. So literally finding a time to talk to everybody was literally killing me. Julia's like, okay, ManyChat, Calendly, you need to automate, automate, automate. It took me longer than I think most people would do. That was one thing that I did. It made all the difference in the world. The systems that you have to help us are incredible. And I will say that I definitely, from my perspective, I still have so much to learn and so much to grow and so many new things that I need to master, the funnel, all of the things, more branding, all of these things. So I'm excited about it. And I know that there's just still so much to learn, but having just lived through the things that you have helped me navigate is just huge. And that's the thing. You take each individual and you're like, okay, here's what I think you're experiencing.
It's
Hey,
almost like I've went through it before.
of course. That's what's so amazing. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And one thing I want to point out that I'm really noticing in this conversation is like, you can't fake energy, right? Your energy, your radiance is what has attracted your community, right? On Instagram, getting people to be like on board with your mission and your vision. And then you almost like just needed systems and an offer. So it's like, we really helped you with systems and an offer. Like you were already doing the thing, like your energy on camera is beautiful and like creating content. So talk to us a little bit more about that. Like, where were you when you first started CCA? Like, maybe did you have any fears around signing up or any fears around being like, oh, well, now I'm going to like really be selling something and creating a high ticket offer?
So I think in a soundbite, the thing that CCA did for me as it relates to my offer was it made me realize my own value. It helped me see what the landscape was in the market, what I could bring uniquely to that place, what skills that I had that were honed and developed and sought after, and how not to undercut myself and how to really charge enough to make it worth my time. If that answers your question, I think that is really for me to think that I could just generate a high ticket offer kind of out of thin air and actually provide it and actually have people calling me up and sending me a DM and saying, okay, where do I put my credit card number? I want to be part of your program. That was a concept that I didn't even consider would ever happen for me. And it started happening. So, but it was because of building it properly, marketing it properly, actually having the systems in place where people could reach out to me, having the automation set up, and not being so exhausted by the time that I got there that I actually had the energy to take care of them as a client in the way that I knew I could benefit them most.
Wow, that is really powerful. And remind me again, like before you joined CCA, you weren't selling high ticket, right? The products and stuff you had were like low ticket products.
So I have a low ticket product and a mid price product, and they were generating nice income for me, but of course limited. And then you're like, okay, we need to work backwards from how much you want to make and how much time you have, and here's what we need to do. Boom, boom, boom. And I was like, why did I ever think of that before? Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
CCA does for you. It just helps you frame the whole picture so that you can see what your offer is, how much time you have, and literally how much money you want to make, and make sure that your pricing is consistent with what you have to offer and to not undercut yourself, you know?
I love that. That's so powerful.
Huge.
I love it. And Leslie, how do you think you've changed? Do you think you've changed as a person after being a part of CCA?
So much. Yeah. So I do have more confidence. I feel a lot more comfortable. I will say that Chloe on Fridays, my closing skills are next level. I also feel like I have this big picture perspective now, the 10,000 foot view of, okay, when you have friction, stop, evaluate, figure out what the number one source of problem is in your business. What's preventing you from moving forward? So I have this toolbox, if you will, that allows me to step back and look and see what I need to address versus sitting there and just saying, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what's happening. Like, oh, wait a minute, there's a strategy and there's a plan here. Just go back to what Julia says, and literally there's a module for literally everything. Every question someone asks, you're like, hold on, read this. Hold on, do this workshop. Oh, hold on. If you didn't workshop this when you were doing it, do it now. And that not only is it making me a better businesswoman, but it's also making me a better coach because being coached by you shows me how to bring value to my own students. You can't just answer the question, right? You answer the question, you tell them why you're explaining it the way you're doing. What is the business formula or what's the foundation foundation plan behind that. And
Hmm.
oh, wait a minute, here's the module to support exactly what I'm saying. So once you realize, and that's what made me be a good coach, right? Because you don't just say, oh, the answer is, blue. No, you
Hmm.
say, the cirrus clouds are doing this and the sky is that, and that's why it's blue. But if it were raining, it would be doing this. You know what I mean? Like it's just so much more of a picture than just the answer. And that's what you give. You bring the meat and potatoes behind the scenes, and that's just money.
Thank you so much, Leslie. And I guess my final question to you would be if someone was listening to this right now and they're on the fence of joining CCA, they're like the investment, the program, the community, I don't know if I have the time, all the things that people think before they invest in themselves, what would you tell them right now?
Okay, first of all, I would say there are no guarantees, but I would say that if you apply yourself, there is no question that this works. I can say two things. One, I did your manifesting challenge within my first month, and I made back my initial investment and 50% more before I even had my coaching program.
No business knowledge, just the manifestation
I'm not even kidding
challenge.
you. So, from that perspective, you can't afford not to do it, right? If you want to grow your business, right? So, if it's meant to be, you have to make it happen, right? But you also have to put yourself in the room with the people that are
Mm.
going to help you make it happen. You can't just pretend and pull this stuff out of thin air. So, yeah, having people that can coach you and guide you through those hurdles that you are inevitably going to experience is just the key to moving forward. So, you can try to do it without CCA, but you're not going to succeed. You're certainly not going to see as quickly.
This is why Leslie's about to be our top affiliate, guys.
I'm just saying, it's so good.
Oh, Leslie, thank you so much. This was so impactful. And I think it was just so refreshing to just see your energy and enthusiasm around what it's like being a team player and just doing the work. Because at the end of the day, there's no magic crystal ball. You did this. Your results are here because of you putting in the time, putting in the energy. And I think it's so cool now that we're even going to start creating this next level about what does your dream business now really feel like, really look like? Because the first 90 days was just let's just get this thing working. Now it's working well, way too well, where we're okay, now how do we want to restructure it to scale, to get to the next level?
And that's exactly it. The way that you say, set the goal, and then the way that you achieve that goal is going to change. And the path
Hmm.
that you take might twist and turn and modify. And then lo and behold, your goal is going to change, right?
Yep.
And so you just keep moving it beyond and beyond. Yeah, there's no end. It's just going to keep going.
I love it, Leslie. And my last question is where could people find you? Maybe they want to learn from you, they want to see your Instagram. Where can they find you?
I am Leslie Latimer. That's on Instagram. I am Les Latimer on TikTok. Come check me out.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Julia. So good to be here with you today.